TV. And I'm going to introduce the candidates. First up, the independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders. Okay, and next, the Republican candidate for president, businessman Donald Trump. Yeah! Okay, and we can shut that door a little, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with some opening statements from the candidates. So Senator Sanders, if you'd like to start us out.
Of course. Good afternoon. I am Senator of Vermont and presidential hopeful Bernie, Master of the Sun and Sky, Sanders. As many of you know, I was born not too far away from here in Brooklyn, New York, thousands of feet below the Earth's surface. My original form was a shining orb of light. Luxana was my name. And each night I would spring from the ground and reveal myself to a child in need, feed them pure energy to invigorate them for future battles, and ask them the question, which way doth the wind blow? I heard many responses from many unfortunate children, but I got one response that was correct, and that word was forward. The wind doth blow forward. The child who gave me that name was Bernie Sanders. From that day on, that child would act as my avatar, and he is with me still. Now, bow to me, mortal friends, and revel in my might. And also, can we please now get to the issues already, like the fact that the top 10th of the top 10th of 1% own more wealth than literally everybody. Thank you very much.
Right. Next, with his opening statement, businessman Donald Trump.
First of all, I would just like to say, that was weird. Creeper. And second of all, I just want to say, purchase New York. I mean, this is the greatest city on earth. Let's not beat around the bush. Some people will say Perry, some people will say, whatever, but purchase, you can't beat this town. I mean, really. Thank you for the primary win last Tuesday. I think I see some young conservatives out there. Just kidding, I don't know any dummies voted for me. Just yanking your chain. What else? Well, I'm sponsored by Zoomies today. What else is there? Oh, and people have been talking about Kasich. Is that his name? John Kasich?
Governor John Kasich.
John Kasich, thank you. Kasich has been going around eating all of this Italian food all around the Bronx. Well, he's not the only one. I have been eating so much delicious Italian food. I went down to Arthur Avenue and I had a delicious chicken bruschetta, and I had a delicious bit of mozzarella on my ravioli, and then I topped it off with a delicious bowl of pasta fagioli with calamari. It was really the most delicious Italian meal. I'm sure it was way better than what Kasich was having. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Trump, did you have any dessert?
But of course, my friend, I had a cannoli.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and now we begin the debate portion. We're going to start with a question for you, Senator Sanders.
Good.
What are the biggest differences between you and your opponent?
Well. Now, I am going to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to say that I think myself and my opponent are a little different. I, of course, have nothing. I don't have a single possession in this world. Of course, I live in a beautiful hole in the ground in Brooklyn, New York, and also one in Vermont. I have two homes, both holes in the ground, with my beautiful wife, Jane Sanders, and my procession of children. I want to say also that I think Donald Trump, I'm just going to say, believe in living our lives a little differently. He has a lot of money, which he uses to pay for various things, food, wives. Me, I only do one thing and one thing only, and that's fight for the lower class people of this world. I get up in the morning, I shower myself in my own excrement, and I go about my day. So I think that is the answer to that question. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Trump, what are the biggest differences between yourself and your opponent, Senator Sanders?
Oh, let me count the ways. Well, I bathe, and he bathes in some kind of,
I poop, I
I
bathe
don't
in my
even, I
poop.
don't even want to say what. That's disgusting,
It's
frankly, and I would prefer if you respected my triggers.
It's my own poop made out of green market food from Vermont.
And it is gross. Where was I? Oh, we're different. Well, I mean, we're clearly different. I mean, what more do you want me to say? I'm good. He's bad. I'm hot. He's ugly. Like what? Like I don't really know. I mean, the ways that we are different are manyfold. I don't really need to explain.
All right, thank you. All right, now for the next question, this is a question of economics, of social policy. It certainly applies to a lot of folks here at this college. And we're going to start again with you, Senator Sanders.
That's probably best.
As president, what would you do about the wage gap?
Yes, the wage gap. Well, first, may I say, John, that everything my opponent just said is bupkis. Just gonna get that out of the way. Now, the wage gap. As with most things, I have an elegant, simple, and realistic answer to the question of dealing with these issues. The wage gap. Now, this one is very important to me. Now, we know that the millionaires and the billionaires, the trillionaires, the chamillionaires of the world have too much money. What do we do about it? Well, I think the simple solution that I have created, and created long legislation for, is we find all of these rich idiots and we lead them up to the highest peak on this land. And we ritually slit their throats, collect their blood in a basin, and all sip from that basin. And their billionaire blood will consume our energy and give us the prosperity we need to live our lives in harmony and power. I think if we do this, then the billionaires do not stand a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump, what would you plan to do to close the wage gap?
Well, Byrne, let me just say, first of all, I appreciate the moderate stance you've taken because you have excluded squillionaires like me from your plan. But the wage gap, well, a lot of people, I think, misunderstand this statistic that gets thrown around. You hear numbers like 74, 75, 76, and supposedly this is the amount that women are making to a man's. I don't really listen when people say it, but I think people misunderstand the statistic that gets pulled out of wherever, because what it actually represents, the statistic, is that women work 75% of the time as men. So wouldn't you? This is my question to you. Wouldn't you pay someone less if they were leaving work at 2 o'clock?
Senator Sanders, do you have a rebuttal to that?
Yeah, that's not true.
Well,
That's
I say it is true, so.
well, but no, it's not.
But I disagree.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. But moving on, we're going to turn to a different issue entirely. We're going to talk about your political idols, people who might have an influence on the way that you would govern. Right after
I
this
love rock and roll.
I bet that's Lenny Kravitz.
Someone can
up
close
there.
that door.
That rat Lenny Kravitz is going at it.
Thank you. But yes, So Mr. Trump, we can start with you. Your political idols.
Well, thank you, Will, for asking this question. It's actually one I prepared for.
Wow, what a surprise.
My number one political... What is it? Political what?
Political idol.
Political idol. My number one political idol, just get the obvious one out of the way, Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. I mean, this guy is really a ball buster, you know. He has that rebel scum Princess Leia, whatever, locked up in the space chamber, whatever it is, and he says, "You need the info, or Elderon's protocol." She doesn't give the info. What does Tarkin do? Blow Alderaan up. I mean, these are simple, direct negotiations, and it's what this country needs. That's number one, obvious. Way number one. Number two?
Senator Sanders, do you have a direct rebuttal to Mr. Trump's idolization of Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope?
Oi, Gavolt! That's it.
Okay, Mr. Trump.
Very nice joke, burn, but here's my number two. Be serious for a minute. Number two is Ron Reagan. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. Ron Reagan not being number two? We got Tarkin, Reagan. Reagan was gonna bring morning to America, whatever the fuck it was. What was it? Morning in America? He has Morning in America, and I have Make America Great Again. And you see how there's the sort of similarity there. Number two. Number three, third and last.
We only have time for one more, so.
Well, good, because I only have one more.
Okay.
Number three is Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. He's a big guy. Women love him. He throws his weight around. And if you talk back to him, he throws you in the Rancor pit. More direct, assertive negotiation. And maybe the Iranians wouldn't be giving us so much attitude if we were more like Tarkin, Reagan, Hutt.
Can I please?
All right, thank you. Yes,
Please.
Senator Sanders, you can now rebut Mr. Trump's answer and give your own for your political idols.
All right, first of all, I would like to point out that two of my opponent's answers were fictional characters. Therefore,
But did it not happen a long time ago?
therefore,
Sure, it was a galaxy away.
excuse me, can we have some rules? Some
Yes,
rules, please, really good.
Mr. Trump, if you could let Senator Sanders speak.
I don't believe in rules.
So all I am saying is perhaps, and I'm just throwing this out there, fictional characters are not what we should be looking to for advice. Which brings me to my answer. My number one political idol is, of course, the giant turtle that moves this planet. As we all know, as everyone is aware, we all live on the back of a giant turtle who swims through the cosmos at an alarming speed and doles out very good, sound advice to those who will take it. And therefore, considering that the turtle on which we live, whose name cannot be pronounced through a mortal mouth, has been an eternal being and has existed before time was even invented by the turtle, by the way.
I don't understand how you...
Mr. Trump, if you could let Senator Sanders give his answer.
That, I think, should be everybody's number one political item. My number two political item, and I do have a second, is, of course, Winston Churchill, for some reason.
All right, moving right along to another pre-prepared debate question. This one, Senator Sanders, we'll start with you. As president, what would you do about GMOs? It's a big topic of discussion. Genetically modified organisms.
Well, yes, John. I think GMOs are a very important issue. I agree with that. I, of course, have drafted the most detailed environmental legislation in the history of any legislation. It's longer, it's better, it's Bernie. Thank you very much. No.
Gentlemen, please. Senator Sanders, continue your answer.
So, GMOs. Now we're talking about GMOs. So, I think what the most important thing about GMOs is to know that people think this is my only option. They think it is easier to have food with GMOs. This is not true. What I recommend, of course, we all need to eat and drink. Is that true? Absolutely. So, if you're thirsty, rather than having one of these BPA-laden bottles of water, what you do is you dunk your head in the ocean. Now, scientists will tell you that you cannot drink sea water. That is not true. And I will add to that some of the best seawater is actually available right here in New York. You're very lucky. You should enjoy that. And moving right along, then you're hungry. You think, okay, no longer thirsty, now I'm hungry. What am I going to do? There's these BPAs everywhere. They're freaking me out. Don't worry about it. Calm down, first of all. Second of all, if I may recommend some of the delicious roughage outside of your homes. Leaves fall off the trees onto the ground, and they, let me tell you, with a little bit of nice rock salt, could not be more delicious. You cannot take the leaves off the trees, however, because, I mean, come on, forget about it. Would you pull a hand off of your friend? No. So, you eat the leaves from the ground. It's tasty, it's delicious, it's nutritious.
But is that not stealing from the ground?
You leave enough for the ground. If we're all going to live on this earth, we're all going to have to share and work together.
All right, Mr. Trump, what would your plan be for GMOs?
Well, thank you for asking this question, Wolf. This is a question very dear to me. I actually am a genetically modified organism. I was grown in a tube in Hackensack, New Jersey, in a 1940s laboratory. And, first there was a swirl of yellow and orange and navy blue, and then little beady eyes popped out of the top of the test tube.
And tiny hands.
And then my big, beautiful hands. Everyone knows those beautiful
Small,
hands.
little hands.
They're beautiful. Maybe they're petite.
Maybe they're beautiful, but small.
Mr. Trump, if you might take your place, Senator Sanders.
I think Sanders needs to control it here. But should I say burn? A strange burn. How about that? Lion Ted, Little Marco, strange burn. Take that one to Twitter. So all of my body parts are forming in this test tube in the lab. And my nice big juicy lips pop out of the top of this test tube. And I say, here I am, get me to Siberia, I need a girlfriend. And I mean, some of my favorite people in the world are GMOs. Most of my family are GMOs. Ivanka's a GMO, Barron's a GMO, Don Jr.'s a GMO. I think the only person who's not a GMO is Melania, but we're working on that, believe me. So, I am the only pro-GMO candidate on stage. I am very strong on GMOs. The end.
Senator Sanders, do you have a quick rebuttal to that?
I don't like that answer.
Well, I don't like you, so...
All right, leaving petty squabbles aside, moving along, we have a couple more questions. Now we're going to turn to foreign policy. Both of you actually have been criticized. Pundits have declared that this is a weak area for both of you. So perhaps
Well, I'd have to agree.
Perhaps you can prove them wrong with this, with your answer to this question. Senator Sanders, you'll begin. As president, what would you do about rising tensions with North Korea?
As president of the United States of America, I think what's important is that we realize that in order to deal with foreign affairs, the best thing we can do is start a coalition. I think we can all agree with that. Yes? Good. All right. Now, I've been criticized for not saying what this coalition would do. Bernie, they say, what will this coalition do? That's what they say. And I say, what we need to do is arm the coalition with our most powerful weapon that we have as American citizens. It is, of course, kindness. We go to the neighboring countries around North Korea with a basket of fruit that, of course, Jane will have prepared.
Looks like a dog.
And then we bring these bowls of fruit to the embassies in the neighboring countries, and we say, hello, we are Bernie Sanders. Would you please take care of that North Korea problem? And they will, of course, say, Absolutely, because that fruit will be only the freshest, GMO-free, and very, very delicious. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Trump. Yes. As president, what would you plan to do about GMOs?
Wolf, I think what the question is about Korea. Wolf.
Oh, yes, about North Korea.
His name is John, you schmuck over here.
Mr. Trump, what would you do about North Korea?
I think it's Wolf who lives in. Well, Wolf, I would dunk on them so hard. Do you remember when Dennis Rodman went there a few years ago? That was my idea. I sat Dennis down and I said, Dennis, what are those little guys doing over there? Asiatic seas. And they said, Dennis goes by they, them pronouns now. They said to me, I don't know, I'm gonna go check it out. And I said, yeah, do that, Dennis. And Dennis went over and there were some nice photo opportunities. I told him to take that King John Un's, whatever his name, take that king's head and shove it down the toilet, give him a swirly. He didn't do that. I wish he had. I was really curious to see if that guy would look like Jimmy Neutron, his tuft of hair swirling around the top of his head when he comes out of the toilet. But anyhow, we'll keep sending basketball players. We'll send Shaq, we'll send LeBron, we'll send Michael Jackson. And, we keep sending these ballers. North Korea's infrastructure will shatter like the backboard.
Senator Sanders, did you have a rebuttal to that answer?
Jimmy Neutron's hair is styled by a machine. I don't think...
It's styled by his dog Goddard. All the family.
Who is a machine?
Anyway, with that, we now move into a very exciting portion of the debate, known as the softball portion.
I prefer the stickball portion.
In which we ask the candidates more personal questions. Try to give everybody an opportunity to get to know them a little. So, Senator Sanders, we'll start with you.
Thank you.
What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Well...
He's gay.
No. Although I do love gay. But...
And I don't.
Okay, good. Fine. May I talk now?
Senator Sanders, please.
Alright. So, my favorite movie is a movie that is available to all people around the world, no matter your economic class or income. My favorite movie premieres every evening, and it is called The Sunset. I look out across the beauteous horizon and look at this incredible movie that the gods have created for us. And I am just so thankful every night that I have such a wonderful, wonderful show that I can watch that Jane gets us tickets for. And I'll tell you, every time I see it, I learn something new. That being said, I do have a second favorite movie, and it of course is the second live-action Smurfs movie where they are lost in New York City. I understand this struggle. I understand feeling overwhelmed in New York City when you are a forest-dwelling individual. I can relate to that. I am Bernie Sanders. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Trump, your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Borat. I love that movie. I love the way it, offends the PC people of the world. I love that part where he goes up to the lady in New York City and he goes, "Very nice, how much?" Thus implying that she is a prostitute.
Which is a rude thing
Borat doesn't know what's rude and what's not rude. He's from Kazakhstan.
Well, I think you have.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Well, I have another second, I think. Vern got two. I think I should get two as well.
Yeah, number
my
two.
Second favorite movie that is gross and disgusting and unsanitary. And my number two favorite movie is Ricky Bobby Talladega Nights. Because it came with the PS3 when the PS3 came out. And I opened up my PS3 for Christmas, and Ricky Bobby was in there, and I said, "Fuck yeah." I was not expecting that.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, now, unfortunately, we have to give our closing statements. But if you would like to, in your closing statements, incorporate a little bit about your personal faith and how that might influence you as the leader of this country. Senator Sanders, we can begin with you.
I'll start with my faith. I have been criticized by the stupid mashuk in the media over there for saying that I don't talk enough about.
I'll tell you who else the media then. It's not
Mr. Trump.
Christ, my Nazarite. Not the Nazarite.
Senator Sanders, you may begin.
Well, can I talk now?
Yes.
Thank you. So, shut up. So, my faith. I'm perfectly willing to talk about it. And I've said before, and I'll say again, that of course I am proud to be Jewish. I am proud to be a member of the Jewish faith. Of course, we follow the giant turtle. But, that being said, I do feel a great affinity with the Jewish people and wish them all a very happy Passover. And I think that they throw great parties. Just wanted to say that. Now, my closing statement, we need?
Yes.
All right.
Wait, how do you feel about the Jewish people from Spaceballs?
That's not worth the time. I'd like to get back to the issues. Thank you. All right. So, in closing, because my closing statement, Bernie Sanders loves you, young people. You are just so dank. And I want to remind you that if 27 of you donate $27 27 times, I think we will win together. May the road rise to meet you and the odds be ever in your favor. Save the turtles, feel the burn. I'm your daddy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. And now, Mr. Trump, if you would like to offer your closing statement.
Well, first I would like to address the question of faith.
Oh, yes, that as well.
And, I am a Christian. My number one favorite book is Bible. I have about 50,000 copies of The Art of the Deal lying around my house. I only got one Bible, man. That thing's the best. That thing is the bomb. And I put my hand in my Bible every night. It's on an altar made out of Art of the Deal. And I say to my Bible, I love you, man. You're the best. You're the good book. You're the Word of God. You're written by God. I mean, come on. So, some people get wrapped up in this Catholic, Protestant, whatever shit. I don't care. It's a waste of time. I'm just Christian. I love the big guy. JC, Yezu, as he's been known in years past. So yeah, I am a Christian, just, in general. And closing statements. Well, we're going to build a wall. And what else is there? Oh, to God goes the glory. Thank you.
All right. And give a big hand for our candidates. And